Hello, dear Scorpio. If your soul has been drawn to these words, then know this isn't a coincidence. You felt it, haven't you? The shift, the tightening, the silent unraveling beneath the surface of your daily life. July has not been a gentle month. It was never meant to be. It arrived like a storm cloaked in silence, breaking down the structures you once relied on, forcing you into a deeper truth. And I am here to remind you of something your spirit already knows. Whoever endures July will shine in August like never before. But this shine is not made of spotlights or applause. It is not the kind of brightness that begs to be seen. No, Scorpio, this light is ancient, sacred. It is born in the silence after surrender, in the stillness that comes once you've let go of what no longer serves. July has asked you to do the unthinkable, to stop running, to face yourself, to peel away every borrowed layer until only the raw, unfiltered core of you remains. And I know how much that hurts. But I also know that you, more than any other sign, were built for this kind of darkness. You do not fear the underworld. You were born in it. You rise from it. This journey through July has not been a punishment. It's a purification, a necessary descent into the fire so that everything false can burn away. Your doubts, your dependencies, your need for validation, they've all been exposed. And maybe you've felt like you're falling apart. But trust me, beloved Scorpio, you're not falling apart. You're falling into alignment, because when August arrives, everything changes. And in the next chapter, I'll show you how this new light within you will not only illuminate your path, but transform everything and everyone around you. This was never a punishment. Scorpio, July has been a sacred trial, fierce, unrelenting, and deeply personal. It wasn't meant to break you, but to burn away everything that isn't truly you. You see, the fire you've walked through wasn't set to destroy you, it was lit to purify you, to strip you of the false identities you wore for safety, to unravel the illusions you clung to just to feel seen, validated, or in control. Every breakdown, every moment of silence that felt like abandonment, every restless night where you questioned your worth, these weren't signs of failure. They were initiations. Because July came to break the contract you made with mediocrity, it came to challenge the ego that built its self-worth on applause, or status, or the approval of others. The part of you that performed strength while silently aching to be held, it couldn't come with you into August. It had to be released. You had to come face to face with the truth that your value is not up for negotiation, not dependent on what others see or fail to see. The only recognition that matters now is the one that comes from within the moment. Your own eyes finally meet your soul without flinching. And in that sacred moment of self-return, when everything external has been stripped away, you will find something astonishing. You are still here. You are still whole. And you are more powerful than you have ever allowed yourself to believe. This is what the fire was for. And August will show you exactly why it was worth it. This transformation, Scorpio, is not a single moment, it is a passage, unfolding in 3 sacred phases. You, like the lion-hearted, are being guided through them all. First comes the destruction, not the kind that ruins you, but the kind that frees you. What once upheld your identity, borrowed ambitions, shallow victories. The illusion of control begins to crumble. You may feel unanchored as the applause fades, as the mirrors no longer reflect who you thought you were, but let them fall. This collapse is holy. It is the death of the false self, the dismantling of a life built around survival instead of truth. Then arrives the rebuilding, Quietly, beneath the ashes, something ancient stirs. You begin to feel it's a strength not born from ego, but from essence, from the part of you that has endured lifetimes of shedding and becoming till piece by piece, a new version of you takes shape, one that is not seeking to impress, but to embody, one that speaks, not to be heard, but because the truth can no longer stay silent. In this phase, your courage becomes real, not the kind that roars, but the kind that remains. And finally, the ascension, as August says, so will you, not as a version of who you once hoped to be, but as the full expression of who you were always meant to become. This light won't scream for attention, it will simply be radiant, calm, unmistakable. Your presence will shift rooms, not because of performance, but because of energy. You will no longer shine to be seen, you will shine to illuminate. And that is what makes you unforgettable. And here, Scorpio, is where the deeper wisdom reveals itself layer by layer, like a veil being lifted from the eyes of the soul. What you once called failure, what you whispered to yourself in the dark as loss, as rejection, as falling behind may, in truth have been sacred preparation. The universe, in its infinite mercy, did not deny you what you wanted. It delayed what was false, so that the real could emerge. Every detour you cursed was a divine recalibration. Every closed door was protection from a version of success that would have cost you your essence. And now, as the dust of July begins to settle, you may begin to see what was always hidden in the ashes. You were being prepared for a brilliance that required deeper roots. The ego self, the version of you that built itself on applause, roles, and expectations served its purpose, but it can't come with you into what's next. That self, or born of survival, crumbles under the weight of true authenticity. And so, July stripped it bare, not out of cruelty, but out of necessity, because the world does not need another polished persona. It needs the real you, the one who knows how to bleed and still stand, who knows how to lose and still love, who has been emptied of illusion and is now ready to be filled with truth. You don't need to prove your worth anymore. Scorpio, not to them, not to the world, not even to the past version of yourself. That season has ended. And here is the paradox: when you finally stop striving to appear valuable, your value radiates in a way that no one can deny. It becomes self-evident, indéniable, rooted not in comparison, but in alignment. True success is no longer something you chase. It becomes something you embody. It flows not from ambition fueled by fear, but from a quiet, steady alignment with your soul's design. It is no longer about winning the race, it is about remembering that your path is incomparable, that your timeline is sacred, that your pace is perfect. There is no competition when you're walking in truth. And yes, this transformation is not optional. It is not a choice you can postpone or a chapter you can skip. Your soul has outgrown the old skin. The shedding is happening, whether you're ready or not. But the beauty is, you are ready. You wouldn't be standing at this threshold if you weren't. The winds of July have already begun the process. Now, if your only task is to surrender to, let go of the weight you were never meant to carry, and rise into the light that has been waiting for you all along. Scorpio, are you willing to stop shrinking? Are you ready to live from your core? Because the next part of your life is not about becoming someone new, it's about becoming finally you. Scorpio, if there is one truth I need you to hold close to your heart right now, closer than doubt, closer than fear, it is this: do not give up halfway. Even if the path feels darker than ever, Even if the fire seems too close to your skin, even if the silence of transformation makes you feel like you've been left behind, the most pivotal changes are never loud, never dramatic. They come in the quiet moments when you choose to keep walking, even when your legs shake, when you choose to breathe, even when the weight on your chest is invisible. Do not confuse this stillness for stagnation. Do not mistake this ache for weakness. This is the terrain of becoming, and becoming was never meant to be easy. But it will be worth it. Stop searching for light in places that have never truly seen you. Stop begging for reflections that don't recognize your depth. The glow you've been chasing in others is not your destination, it is your mirror. You carry the very brilliance you've been taught to look for outside. It has always lived inside your silence, your pain, your knowing, your tears. But to find it, you must go inward, not as a retreat, but as a homecoming. Every time you've reached out for validation and came back empty, the universe wasn't denying you love, it was redirecting you back to your own light source. The fire within you, Scorpio, is ancient. It is sovereign, and it is time for it to burn without apology. You were chosen for this journey, not because you are unbreakable, but because you are capable of being broken and still rising, because you carry the kind of depth that can't be taught, only remembered, because your presence has the power to shift rooms, not through force, but through truth. There is no accident in the intensity of your path. It is a forging ground for your essence. Every hardship, every confrontation, every moment you've been brought to your knees was a sacred rite of passage, preparing you to become someone the world cannot ignore, cannot diminish, cannot mold. When you emerge from this cocoon, it won't be with armor, it will be with roots. You will walk with a kind of strength that does not shout, but is felt, a strength that does not waver when others project their fears, a strength born not of pretending to be whole, but of learning how to love yourself even in pieces. So keep going, Scorpio, not because it's easy, not because it's comfortable, but because there is a version of you on the other side of this fire who is waiting to meet you. And that version does not bow to the chaos of the world, they anchor it. They illuminate without effort. They live without apology. And they love without fear. And so, dear Scorpio, if you've made it this far through the shadows of July, through the unraveling, the silence, the sacred burning, then know this. You are already becoming. You don't need to rush. You don't need to prove. You don't need to do anything but continue listening to the quiet voice within the one that never left you. Even in the moments you forgot your own name. August is not a reward. It is a reflection, a mirror that will finally show you the strength you cultivated in the dark, the softness you protected in the fire, the light that refused to go out when everything around you dimmed. And as this new chapter opens, you will begin to notice the shift, not because the world suddenly changes, but because your energy will speak before you do. Your presence will make others feel more honest, more awake, more alive. And that, Scorpio, is your gift, not to shine for attention, but to shine in a way that calls others home to themselves. So take this final breath of July with reverence. Bless the storms. Thank the endings. And when August rises, walk forward, not as someone who survived, but as someone who remembered who they are. You are no longer waiting for your light. You are the light, and the world is finally ready to see you. Selena Hart.